It's the final weekend of the Premier League season, but could it be the last Premier League weekend for Louis Van Gaal? They lost to West Ham at the Bowling Ground, farewell to the Bowling Ground, a game that they needed to win.
Yeah.
Sam, from United People's TV, you have been on the Get Louis Out bandwagon for quite some time. When did you first jump on that bandwagon?
The feeling started to emerge in December when we lost 4 on the bounce, but I thought that was a bit early. And then I think it was probably when we lost away to Sunderland. I think it was a 2-1. Sunderland were crap at that point, really quite bad.
Yeah.
And then it's just been a case of up and down in terms of how we've played this season, but there's never really been real progress. It's just been stagnant.
5th in the Premier League at the moment, 1 game to play. You could still get 4th. You've got to beat Bournemouth and hope that Swansea can beat Man City. Things happen in football, so this could happen.
Technically it could still happen, but it doesn't change. The result of that one game doesn't. It might change whether we get into the Champions League next year or not. It doesn't change what's happened in the past 2 years.
What has Louis Van Gaal done right at Man United in his tenure?
I mean, at the very, very start, he came in at a bad time. David Moyes had really left the club. Fergie left the club in quite a bad condition. The squad wasn't that good. Moyes came into a poison chalice, left after 7 months. And then when Van Gaal came in, he cleared a lot of the deadwood out, the players that we didn't think that should be there anymore. The Nannies, the Andersons, people disagree with Kagger or not, and then Van Persie went, that was a little bit. He got rid of a lot of players that we thought, okay, he's doing quite well here. And he did make some good signings. You've seen Luke Shaw is going to be one of the world's best left backs. I think Memphis Depay is going to come good. So I think a lot of his signings have been good, and a lot of them haven't worked out. Schweinsteiger was a risk that hasn't worked out. Falcao was a risk that really didn't work out.
So hang on, what's he done right? What's he done right?
Look right.
Answer that.
Sign one of the world's best left backs, is it? See?
Yeah, you've got good left back cover.
No, I suppose the mere fact that I'm struggling to tell you what Louis Van Gaal has done right is pretty much case in point.
Bringing through some of the young players like Marcus Rashford, Lingard, and that I think's been good.
From a neutral perspective, what are your thoughts on Louis Van Gaal? Do you think he's done a good enough job to keep his job?
Not really. No, not for Manchester United. The standards are really high. The amount of money that they spent, over £200 million, and they're just about may not qualify for the Champions League, and if they do, they just about scrape into there. I mean, surely that's not good enough. I do think though he has had a lot of injuries to cope with. Really, I mean, I thought injuries at Arsenal have been bad this season, but I think United's possibly been even worse.
I think that's a really important point, because you could say, and you can spin it both ways. So they've been really unlucky with injuries. That obviously plays a huge part. And a strength you could sort of label at Louis Van Gaal is that he's brought through these youth players. But has he brought through the youth players because of everyone being injured, or is that something that he would have done anyway?
It's something he's always done throughout his career. It's a big reason why he was brought in, because he does have the philosophy of the youth. He's done it at Ajax, done it at Barcelona, and he's kind of done it throughout his whole career. And it's a double-edged sword of, yes, he's brought through all these youngsters, but the only reason he's brought through these youngsters is because he's made a small squad. And
have they done well because of him? Or are they just good youngsters?
That's kind of a hard question.
Yeah.
I think the person who's done the best under Van Gaal is Chris Smalling in terms of player development. He's become a really, really good centre-back now.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much Van Gaal is personally responsible for Marcus Rashford lighting up, or was it just if Rashford, it wouldn't matter who was in charge.
But you've got to give him credit for bringing him in, because when Rashford came in, I mean, he's very raw. All right, I know he was sort of forced into that position, but since that game, he's kept playing him. You see other managers, they'll switch a guy from midfield to play as a striker, but he didn't. He had faith in him. So I think he's got to take credit for that, but it has been well, you know what? It depends. If United win the FA Cup and they was to get the top 4, then it wouldn't be a bad season.
Will winning the FA Cup make a difference? I think losing the FA Cup, he surely probably he has to go after that.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happens between now and the 22nd of May. Van Gaal should be leaving at the end of the season, but he's
How can you sack him if he wins? If he does win the FA Cup,
Wigan won the FA Cup.
But if
Portsmouth won the FA Cup.
If at the end of the season he's won a trophy, and he's got you into because you could still get in the top 4 if going away to Swansea ain't gonna be easy.
No, you never know.
Could you sack him after that? That'd be a bit harsh, wouldn't it?
No, it wouldn't, because last year we got 4th quite comfortably. I think we had 2 games, maybe 3 games left before we realised we were top 4. This year we're scraping in a season where we shouldn't really be scraping, given the context of what's happening in the Premier League. Nobody's ran away with it.
So
everybody stumbled.
So I asked you, what have they done right? In terms of what he's done wrong, so regardless of him winning the FA Cup, you're saying he should go. Is it the style of play? You've scored 46 goals all season, which is actually an incredible achievement to finish fifth and only score 46 goals, if that's the way it works out. Only conceded 34. You spoke about Chris Smalling.
Yeah.
That's a huge part of it. And then probably another reason why Chris Smalling looks better and your defence looks better is possession. You've had 54%, one of the highest in the league. Your chances created, though, has been 17th in the Premier League. So is the style of it, is that the main reason why you want Van Gaal out?
It's just that if you're looking at how we play, yes, our defence has been so good, but our football's been so geared towards defending that it's lost his attacking spark. Hence why we're 17th in the league for creating chances.
And is that the main reason why you want it? Why he is not successful enough and has to go?
That style of football's just not working in the Premier League. It's not working. We were even worse in the Champions League. I think he's a great manager. He's done fantastic things at a lot of clubs across Europe, but he's going into his mid-60s. And his style of play is just not suited to the modern game. I'd love nothing more than for him to finish with an FA Cup, go out on a high.
It's a bit like the Wenger situation.
If you wait, you sound like an Arsenal fan.
Exactly.
I'm sitting here and I'm listening to him. I'm like, this is Arsenal talk.
So here's the next question for you. You want him to go, you want him to go, you want him to go. If he goes, and you can't get Mourinho because he's gone to PSG, and you can't get Pochettino because he's just signed a new deal at Spurs, then who becomes the manager?
United have put themselves into a situation which is extremely tricky. We've got a manager who we, as fans, we don't think can take us forward. We've got an assistant manager who would be more of a risk in Ryan Giggs than David Moyes. Ideal choice is Pochettino. He's not going to leave Spurs, I don't think. I don't think Spurs will let him leave.
So if you can't have those two, then who?
United have no... De Boer, you're going to really start looking around for other options that we haven't really considered as fans. I think Mourinho is the only person I can see.
It's weird, though, that United haven't brought Mourinho in earlier. It just makes you think that maybe they don't want Mourinho. I don't know. This is a strange one.
This is the problem that fans are having. We don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. We have no idea what United actually want to do. And we're now stuck with a week left until the FA Cup final, still having no idea what's going on next season.
So it's an interesting one. Is this going to be Louis Van Gaal's last game in the Premier League? Let us know in the comments below what you think about Louis Van Gaal. Should he go? And if he goes and you can't pick Pochettino and you can't pick Mourinho, then who should be the next manager for Manchester United? If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and make sure you subscribe to the Bull Street channel by pressing on Sam's sort of angry, slightly frustrated head. Bing!